Hari Om, Namo Namaha, Sarvebhyah. A bowing greetings to each one of the viewers in this channel, Holistic Health with Dr-Deb. Today, I couldn't help myself than to come in front of you with another live session where I thought it might be a high time and an appropriate time to bring in front of us what the basic foundation of Sanatana Dharma, some of the foundational scriptures of yoga and per se of Sanatana Dharma talks about when it comes to protecting the Dharma, or what is Dharma, what holds us. What holds us together is Dharma. What holds the society together is Dharma. When there is the question of protecting the Dharma, what does our scriptures, what does Sanatana Dharma tells us about the lines, about the course of action? And today, why did I mention today as one of the most appropriate day? I wanted to come in spite of the busy schedule, making time for all of us, because this is a high time to see, to shed light into some of the foundational scriptures what Bhagwan guides us to in during this points, during this time of conflict, during this time of confusion, delusion, or moha. What does our scriptures guide us to? I wanted to shed light on specifically by bringing in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, because that is one of the foundational texts accessible to one and all, not only just within Bharat, but also within the whole of the world. So, just quickly briefing to the audience who are probably, very few of them probably are there who is not aware of what's going on with Bharat. So basically, as you see also in the title and in the thumbnail, you have seen I have mentioned about this particular Operation Sindoor. So basically, in the lines of, in response to the heinous, the dastardly terrorist attack that took place on 22nd of April in the Vaisaran Valley in Pahalgaon, where 26 civilians were shot to death in a very, very heinous way. After that, in that response, there has been this particular operation by the Indian Armed Forces, which is the three forces, as we know, the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy. The armed forces have strike back, as we saw yesterday, or basically today, in the very early morning, around 1:40 to around 2 a.m. or so. During that time, they strike back uh, the 9 of the terrorist base camps where the trainings, most of the trainings were done to all these militants, all these terrorists, to nullify them, to demolish them to ground. So I wanted to have this chanting session on this particular occasion, because I want to first mention that there I have been seeing around in the social media, and I have seen there has been so much confusion about, oh, whether should I do this, whether should I do that, whether this should be done, whether there should be an attack back, or it should be just digested as it is. See, in terms of Sanatana Dharma, in terms of its guidelines, it's very, very clear. There is no compromise. There is absolutely no compromise when there is some adharma happening on this planet. When it comes to adharma, first you demolish, then you think of, then you talk of whatever comes in terms of universality, whatever it comes of staying in harmony and peace. That comes after we have nipped in the bud the seeds of what incites, what invokes, what provokes adharma within the society. So I mentioned in the thumbnail that I chose chapter 1, Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because, as you might very well be aware of, there are 18 chapters in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, which is the foundational text. It's called the handbook of conscious living to navigate through the waves of life. In that, the very first chapter, there are in total 700 verses, right? In the very first chapter, it stands for the despondence of Arjuna, the confusion, the delusional state of Arjuna, who is one of the greatest fighters of all time. Even he is in a confusion state, in a delusionary state, where he is not sure whether he should be fighting or showing his prowess against the army that is standing in front of him, where he sees lots of his family members, his brethren, lots of his relatives who are standing in front of him, and he is asked to fight, to show his prowess, the Kshatriya prowess, in front of an army which he thinks he are very well keenly associated with, very closely associated with. So he is in an utter state of delusion and confusion whether he should fight. So the 46 verses of the chapter 1 in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, the 46 verses of chapter 1 in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita shows us how much logically sound Arjuna might seem like when he is preparing his case in front of Bhagavan Krishna, who was, as you all know, who was his charioteer. He was presenting his case why he should not fight with an army which he thinks is his brethren, is his family members, is his kith and kin. But as we know, moving forward from chapter 2 till until chapter 18th, Bhagavan Krishna clarifies each and every doubt that Arjuna has proposed in the very first chapter, saying that he gives apparently seeming very logically correct justification of why it might not be right to fight against that army that is standing in front of him. He is shaking. As we will see in this chapter, his body is shaking, and he says that my Gandiva, the Gandiva is the name of his Dhanush, the name of his bow and arrow. That bow, that is, he is losing his grip from that bow. It is falling down on the chariot. His body is shivering. His mouth is becoming parched, dry, and he has no clue what he should be doing at this point of time, whether he should even go and fight or not. So I wanted to present to this because at this present time, I am looking around, and as just right now you are in this session, you have been also looking in many other YouTube videos where people are in social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, where people are having this, most of them, I think, or many of them are having this confusion of whether this Operation Sindoor or this strike back was necessary, or it was even like the right thing, the right step to go. First of all, I want to clear and clarify it very sternly that a debate, a confusion, a debate only happens between something that is gray colored. Something that is gray colored means it's neither black nor white, it's a mix of things, so it's grayish. So a debate, a confusion happens on a gray color. A confusion does not happen on a black and white things. It's very straightforward. In this case, the Operation Sindoor has been a very clear-headed, a very thoughtful, and a very strategic and a very pinpointed attack to demolish those roots, those base camps, those operational grounds from which all these terror-invoking, terror-provoking young kiddos, the youths were stemming from. So it was a very surgical move, very strategic move to demolish, not just for our country. I am from Bharat, in this body, in this mind, in this lifetime I am from Bharat. But as a citizen of the world, it is not just this strike of Operation Sindoor that happened on May 7th between 1:40 to 2:20 a.m. at night. This was not just to wipe out the stems of terrorism from Bharat, but also the possibility, or to show a case, or to send a very stern message to each and every terror-provoking group or groups So, how it is clear in Sanatana Dharma, I will just tell you before we move on to the confusion state of Arjuna, the greatest of the greatest fighter. Even he was confused when it came to a situation of protecting his dharma. He was confused, and I will discuss what exactly he was saying to Bhagavan Krishna and how he was presenting his case. But before that, I want to just clarify that in chapter 4, the Jnana Yoga, in shloka number 7 and 8, Bhagavan Krishna very clearly mentions how he appears to protect the dharma against the adharma. Across the ages, how whenever the dharma has risen up, it has gone over the roof, how he has come to protect the dharma, and that has been the case. It will always be the case, and we as the Sanatanis, we as the forebearer of the Sanatana Dharma, carries the responsibility of protecting the dharma. And the Operation Sindoor, the surgical strike, has been just an example of what is to do the dharmic thing, the righteous thing. What is dharma? Dharma means the righteous thing that holds us together, that holds the society together, so that never ever again those people or such kind of groups of people ever think of doing such heinous acts again. Okay, so before we move on to actually the sloka where Sri Krishna says how he comes in, not he himself as a Krishna, but how the people who protects the dharma comes and appears to save people from adharma. So before that, I will just start this discussion in the chanting part by chanting a dhyana sloka. Om Vasudeva Sutan Devam Kansa Chanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now let me directly move into the shloka, not the chapter 1, but from chapter 4, the Jnana Yoga. In the shloka, the verse number 7 and 8, Bhagavan Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. What does it mean? Let me chant it first in the meter, the Anushtup meter. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. What does it mean? Chapter 4, verses 7 and 8. What does it mean? Bhagavan Krishna is saying, whenever, O descendant of Bharata, means he is addressing to Arjuna, whenever, O descendant of Bharata, there is decline of dharma and rise of adharma, and then I embody myself, okay, for the protection of the good, for the destruction of the wicked, and for the establishment of dharma. I came into being in every age. For sure, in the Kali Yuga, it's even more than ever necessary when there is some adharma sprouting out from here and there. They cannot just go away with that thinking that they will be spared. No, absolutely not. So, just like Bhagavan says here, and I just want to mention, when it comes to actually do the duty, what Bhagavan says in a very clear cut fashion. The problem of today's age is the problem of why these people, these militants, first of all, these people are wandering, they have wandered to a different route in their life. They are all between 20 to 40 years of age. If you have seen the news, if you have been following, who are these people? They are misled, they are derouted from the path because they are confused. Their clarity has been clouded by tamas, and their thoughts have been provoked, they have been taken over by derouting. So When it comes to protecting the dharma, Bhagavan Krishna talks about in the second chapter, the Sankhya Yoga, which is, by the way, said the gist of Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. In the second chapter, Sankhya Yoga, Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, in 47th verse, Bhagavan says very clearly, when it comes to dharma means what to do the thing that is right, not what we want to do, not who we think we are bhai or who we are like they are my relatives and we are their relatives. When it comes to doing the right thing, Bhagavan has to say a very clear message. Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, 47th verse. Before I chant, let me say you the reason why people, the young, are in this utterly confused state. I have been looking around in these different social media posts, like whether the Operation Sindoor be happening or even not, because they have no idea where their roots are. Recently, I made a video on why is it important to connect to your roots and to understand and to go deep and to introspect and to research and to understand what the scriptures say, which are timeless wisdom from time immemorial, because they have no clue, no idea what they have to say in this kind of scenarios of utter confusion, well, apparent scenarios of utter confusion. So they have no clue because they don't know the scriptures. They have never studied it. Nobody has taught them. They have been misled. These 20 to 40 years of age kiddos, they have been misled and they have been hijacked. Well, people think they hijack planes. People think they hijack trains. People think they hijack localities. But in reality, these people have been hijacked by their ignorance. So see this, chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, 47th verse. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhuh ma te sangostva karmani. Bhagavan very clearly says, thy right is to work only. We have right only to do the action what is right to protect the dharma, but never to the fruits thereof. Be thou not the producer of the fruits, be thou not the producer of the fruits of actions, neither let thy attachment be towards inaction. So, thinking of the fruits, may we not get attached to the fruits or get deprived of what needs to be done. Neither of this is right. We just do the action. We only have our adhikar, means right on the action, especially the action which is right thing to do. Okay? And people usually say this and then they stop. But actually, in the very next shloka, in the very next verse of that second chapter, which is verse number 48, he defines what is yoga. By the way, in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, there are many instances, many places where yoga has been defined. What is yoga? In the 48th verse of chapter 2, right after when he says that do your action, you have only your adhikar on your action, not on the fruits of action. Right after that, Bhagavan says, he defines distinctly what is yoga. See, look at this. Yogasthak kuru karmani sangan tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samattvai yoga uchyate. Being steadfast in yoga, O Dhananjaya, means O Arjuna, perform your actions, abandoning the attachment of, oh my God, what will happen, who will die, who will not. What is needed to be done? Do your actions to protect the dharma. And you as a kshatriya, you as the fighter, your dharma is to protect the innocent people of the country. So abandoning your attachment to the fruits of the action, do your actions, remaining unconcerned as regards success and failure. This evenness of mind, this equipoisedness of mind, this equilibrium of mind in regard to success and failure is called yoga. Samattvai yoga uchyate. In Buddhism also, there is this foundational principle of the Majjhim Pantha. Pantha means the way, the path, and Majmim means the middle ground. The middle ground means neither getting carried away in either one of the two extremes of the dualities, success or failure, good or bad, cold or hot, all of that. So to stay in the middle ground, in the equilibrium, is what is called yoga, whether it's Buddhism, and for sure in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. I wanted to mention this two shlokas, so please remember what I talked about. When there is increase of adharma, right, Bhagavan appears himself to protect the innocent people. That is the fourth chapter, verse number 7 and 8. Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Jnana Yoga, verse number 7 and 8, where he talks about yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. And I also mentioned to you another shlok, just to give us context for this discussion on this utter apparently seeming confusion going on here and there, whether Operation Sindoor should be done or not. So chapter 2, verse number 47 and 48. 47 is the karmanyevadhikaraste, that one, and 48 is the definition of yoga in terms of holding the middle ground when it comes to do the right thing. Okay, so having said that, I would like us to go through this journey of what kind of delusional state, what kind of apparently shocking, stunning state Arjuna arrived when he was about to fight. And I wanted to choose this chapter during this day of Operation Sindoor is because, see, it's okay. It's okay if people are having confusion, if people are having delusion, if they are not being able to say, if they are not being able to decipher, discriminate, their viveka is not working, what is the right thing to do. If they are having this confusion, that's okay, because even Arjuna had this confusion. Should I even fight? Oh my God, those people standing in front of me, they are my brethren. Oh my God, they are my family members. What will happen to their families? What will... Bhagavan's message was, oh Napungsaka, what are you thinking of like a Napungsaka? Neither a male nor a female. Oh, what are you saying like this? You stand up like a Kshatriya. Where is all this Napungsakatta coming from? Later on he speaks. But in the first chapter, in the 46 verses, I want to take you through the journey of the confusion of the greatest of all times, the warrior Arjuna. His confusion. Even at the moment of crisis, nobody wanted that fight. But because of the course of events, the fight was called for. They asked for just 5 villages for the 5 brothers. But in response, he was told by Duryodhana, Bina juddhe dibo nahi suchagro medini in Bengali, means without fight, I will not even give you that much of land that comes up on the tip of a needle. That was told. So in this kind of provocation, so war was mandatory. So Krishna says, wake up Arjuna, fight. Where is all this confusion, delusions coming in you? And you are saying words like you are the most intellectual person of this planet. This is happening today. When there has been this strike back, very, very strategic strike back to demolish, to put down to ashes those 9 locations, and I hope that there are many, many more such coming. And if there are more of these, I'm sure there are many coming in the coming days. So in this strike, many people are confused whether that strikes should be done. Oh my God, that's happening to them. What? They are all our brothers and sisters and all that. When there is adharma, there is no compromise, as have been very clearly mentioned and indicated by our honorable Prime Minister, of course, and also the External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, in his post, I think in Twitter. There is no compromise with terrorism. And if somebody thinks that they would get spared, no, it's not going to happen. And if somebody is confused, if people are confused what should be the right course of action, let me take you through this journey of the greatest warriors of all times, Arjuna, the greatest of the greatest archery person of all times, Arjuna, whose charioteer was Sri Bhagavan Krishna himself. Even then, he was utterly confused right before the fight was about to begin. So, if Arjuna is confused, these little kiddos here and there, it's okay if they are confused. But our duty our duty as Sanatanis, coming from the Sanatana Dharma, our duty is to bring them to light who has no idea what these scriptures have been telling us, teaching us from time immemorial, because they have not studied it, they have not taken the time to open this and looked into, but they are all hijacked by influences from outside world. Their own faculties are all hijacked out. So let me take everyone through this journey of the delusion, the delusionary state, the confusional state of Arjuna in the very first chapter of the foundational text on yoga and skillful living, Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. The first chapter, the name is Arjuna Vishada Yoga, the despondence of Arjuna, the grief of Arjuna. With that, let's dive straight into the chants. There are 46 shlokas or verses. I will chant them in the meter, and the meter, by the way, for your reference, the meter is the Anushtup meter. In Sanskrit literature, there are many chandas or many meters. Anushtup is one of them. In fact, it's a very popular one. Many of the epics, many of the scriptures are written in this chanda. Okay, so Anushtup chanda, I will chant each one of these verses and tell you the meaning of it. And I will pause at places where I need to pause to connect the situation with the present situation and the present day to day of the Operation Sindoor. And guys, Operation Sindoor is the vermilion that defines the relationship of a woman with their loved one, husband. Operation Sindoor, because as we all know, on 22nd April, 26 people who have been killed, all were men, and many of them were the husbands of newly married couples. So they lost their love for the rest of their life. So the Sindoor, which marks the relationship of the woman to their husband, which indicates whether they are married or not, that was wiped off. So that's why the name was given Operation Sindoor. Just like, do you remember in Mahabharata when Draupadi was insulted by Duryodhan's brother Dushasan? He said, unless and until I get the blood of Dushasan in my hair, I will not tie it. I will not tie my hair. So Bhima actually teared open Dushasan's chati and then took the blood out of Dushasan and gave to Draupadi. And Draupadi smeared it in her hair, and then only she tied it after that pledge was kept. So this is how retaliation happens in Sanatana Dharma, not for the sake of invoking terror, but for the sake of demolishing terror for once and forever. There are plenty of instances that are given in our Shastras. All we have to do is to just point out during these times. So I thought it's my duty as a Vedic healer and a holistic health coach to bring to you this confusional state of Arjuna during the fight. Let's begin. Atha prathamodhyayah Arjuna Vishada Yoga Dhritarashtra Uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samavetayuyutsavaha Mamakaf Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra said, tell me, O Sanjaya, assembled on Kurukshetra, the center of religious activity, desirous to fight. What indeed did my people and the Pandavas do? What did they do? Dhritarashtra, the blind king, remember? He was being narrated the whole story of the Kurukshetra war by his minister who had the inner vision blessed by Bhagavan Krishna, who could see everything happening in the war field, in the battlefield, and was explaining to the king of the evil side, the Kauravas, Dhritarashtra. So, Sanjaya Uvacha Drishtva tu Pandavanekam Vyudhan Duryodhanastada Acharyamupasangam Raja Vachanam Abravit. Sanjaya said, but then King Duryodhana, having seen the Pandava forces in the battle array, approached his teacher Drona and spoke these words. Duryodhana said these words. What did he say? Pashyaitam Panduputranam Acharya Mahatin Chamum Vyudhan Drupada Putrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata. Behold, O teacher, Dronacharya. Behold, O teacher, this mighty army of the sons of Pandu, arrayed by the son of Drupada, thy gifted people, your gifted pupil means Dronacharya's gifted pupil Drupada, arrayed this mighty arm of the opposite side, the good side, the Pandavas, right? Then he goes on. Atra Shura Maheshwasaha Bhimarjuna Samayudhe Yuyudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharathaha Drishtaketusche Kitanaha Kashirajascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha Yudhamanyuscha Vikrantaha Uttamaujascha Viryavan Saubhadro Draupadeyascha Sarva eva Maharatha. Here are heroes, mighty archers, the equals in the battle of Bhima and Arjuna, the great warriors of Yudhana, just like the other country shows up, like we have this, we have that, and all that. Duryodhana is saying that, look, here are the heroes, mighty archers, the equals in battles of Bhima and Arjuna, the great warriors Yuyudhan, we have Virata, Drupada, the valiant Drishtaketu, Chekitan, the king of Kashi, the best of men, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, and Shaibya, the powerful Yudhamanyu, and the brave Uttamaujas, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi, all of whom are lords of great chariots. Okay? So basically, Duryodhan was telling to the other side, looking at the other side, look, these are the brave people that they have, the Pandavas have. Okay? Here they were not talking about their own army, but the other side army. Right? He was explaining. He was looking around like this, and he was telling to his Guru Dronacharya that, oh, they have got this, they have Bhima, they have Arjuna, they have Drupada, they have Draupadi's son, and all that. So he was explaining. Moving forward. Asmakantu vishishtaye tani bodha dvijottama nayakamama sainyasya sangyarthantan bravimite. Here also, O best of the twice-born, Dvija, twice-born Brahmin, the names of those who are distinguished among ourselves, the leaders of my army, this I relate for your information. Now, once he looks into the other army and says, oh, they have got Bhima, they have got Arjuna. Now look at our army, Duryodhan, the evil king, was saying. He begins to narrate. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karanascha Kripascha Samitinjayaha Ashwathama Vikarnascha Saumadattir Jayadrathaha. Yourself means Dronacharya, and Bhishma and Karna and Kripacharya, the victorious in war. Ashwathama and Vikarna and Jayadratha, the son of Somadatta. Anye cha bahavashuraha madarthe tyakta jivitaha Nana Shastra Praharanaha Sarve Yuddha Visharadaha. And many other heroes also, well skilled in fight and armed with many kinds of weapons, are here, determined to lay down their lives for my sake. Duryodhana is saying, look, who else we have? We have got we have also got many archers, many heroes who are there ready to lay down their lives for this evil cause. He is not saying it evil because, of course, he doesn't understand, or even if he understands, he cannot help himself from doing what he is doing. Moves on. Aparyaptan tadasmakam balam bhishmabhirakshitam paryaptan twidame tesham balam bhimabhirakshitam. This is our army defended by Bhishma, impossible to be conquered. But that army of theirs defended by Bhima is easy to number because, of course, they were higher in number. Kauravas were higher in number, so they were. Duryodhana was boasting of his higher number of armies. Anyeshu ayaneshu cha sarveshu yatha bhagam avasthitaah bhishmamevabhirakshantu bhavantas sarva eva hi. Now do, being stationed in your proper places in the divisions of the army, support Bhishma alone. He is telling everybody, hey guys, you support our army chief Bhishma to start with. Later we know Bhishma took his Sarasaya, means the bed of the arrows, and he took his own death. After that, there were different army chiefs like Dronacharya, then Kripacharya, then Ashwathama, like that, then Karna. So, moving forward. Tasya sanjanayan harasham kuru vridhah pitamaha sinhanadam vinadyochaihi shankhan dadhmau pratapavan. That powerful oldest of the Kurus, Bhishma, the grandsire, in order to cheer Duryodhana, now sounded aloud a lion roar and blew his conch. Bhishma blows his conch. Tatashankhascha bhairyascha Panavanakago mukha sahasaivabhyahanyanta sashabdastumulo bhavat. Then following Bhishma, conches and kettle drums, tabors, trumpets, cow horns blared forth suddenly from the Kaurava side, and the noise was tremendous. Tatashvetair hayair yukte mahatisyandane sthitau madhavav pandavaschaiva divyau shankau pradadhmatuhu. Now look at this, very interesting it gets here. After Bhishma blows his conch, everybody else in the Kauravas blows their conch to join the party. Right after, there is a retaliation, because when there is somebody in the adharma, be it Bhishma, be it Drona, be it Kripa, be it Karna, however valorous they may be, however pious they may be in their previous lives or in the first half of their lives, doesn't matter. When they blew their conch, right away there was retaliation. Look, then also Madhava and Pandava, stationed in their magnificent chariot, yoked with white horses, blew their divine conches with a furious noise. You see, there was a retaliation right away, because when adharma roars, there has to be dharma rising up to defend it, to not let its head go up its shell, to behead it right away. When the adharma tries to rise up, there was retaliation right away. Look what happens. Ananta Vijayam Raja. So here is this. Panchajanyam Rishikeshaha Devadattan Dhananjayaha Poundran Dadmau Mahashankham Bhima Karma Vrikodaraha. Rishikesha blew the Panchajanna, means Krishna blew the conch called Panchajanya. Dhananjaya means Arjuna blew the conch named Devadatta. And Vrikodar, Bhima, the doer of terrific deeds, his large conch Poundra. Immediate retaliation. Hey, you are making your conch sounds. We are not sitting here quiet. Dharma has to be protected. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha Nakulas Sahadevascha Sughoshamani Pushpakau. King Yudhishthira, son of Kunti, blew the conch named Ananta Vijaya. And Nakula and Sahadeva, they are Sughosha and Manipushpaka. Kashyascha parameshwasaha shikhandi cha maharathaha drishtadhyumno viratascha satyakischa parajitaha. The expert bowman, the king of Kashi, and the great warrior Shikhandi, Drishtadhyumna and Virata, and the unconquered Satyaki, Drupado Draupadeyaschcha Sarvashah Prithivepate Saubhadrascha Mahabahuhu Shankhan Dadmuf Prithak Prithak. O Lord of Earth, Drupada and the sons of Draupadi and the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all also blew his own conch. Immediately they responded back by blowing the conches of Dharma. Whenever there was the conches of Adharma blowing from the Kaurava side, there was immediate retaliation saying that Dharma must be protected. Operation Sindoor, it was a retaliation to nullify, demolish the sprouts, the budding grounds of any and every terrorist attacks, so that never they feel the prowess, the power to rise their head and do the heinous act of killing the innocent civilians. Never ever again Operation Sindhu striking and killing down 9 of the base camps. Look at this, what happens. Everybody in the Pandavas also blows their own conches. Saghoshodhartarashtanam hridayani vidarayat nabhascha prithivin chaiva tumulobhyanunadayan. One more time, this one, 19th shloka, 19th verse, chapter 1. Saghoshodhartarashtanam hridayani vidarayat nabhascha prithivin chaiva tumulobhyanunadayan. And the terrific noise resounding throughout heaven and earth rent the hearts of Dhritarashtra's party. Athavyavasthitan drashtva dhartarashtran kapidhvajaha pravritte shastra sampate dhanurudyamya pandavaha rishikeshantada vakyam idamaha mahipate. Verse number 20. What does it mean? Then, O Lord of Earth, seeing Dhritarashtra's party standing marshaled and the shooting about to begin, the Pandava whose sign was the monkey, Hanumanji, the Pandava whose ensign was the monkey, raising his bow, said the following words to Krishna. Arjuna then told to Krishna, now begins the state of delusion, now begins the state of delirium, now begins the state of confusion. From shloka verse number 20. Please mark, chapter 1 verse 20 is right when the fight is about to begin. Arjuna says the following words. Arjuna uvacha senayorubhayor madhye ratham sthapayamechyuta yavadetan niriksheham yodhukaman avasthitan kairmaya saha yodhavyam asmin ranasamudyame. Arjuna said, place my chariot, O Achyuta, O Krishna, between the two armies, that I may see who stand there prepared for war. On this eve of battle, let me know with whom I have to fight. He wants to then, he became curious to see who is there that he has to fight with. Yotsyamana naveksheham ya etetra samagataha dhartarashtrasya durbuddhe yuddhe priyachikershavah. For I desire to observe those who are assembled here for fight, wishing to please the evil-minded Duryodhana by taking his side on this battlefield. Arjuna says, let me see. Sanjaya, the minister of King Dhritarashtra, the blind King Dhritarashtra, then says, Sanjaya uvacha eva mukto rishikeshaha gudakeshena bharata senayorubhayor madhye sthapayitva rathottamam bhishmadrona pramukhatah sarveshan cha mahikshitam uvacha partha pashyaitan samavetan kuruniti. Look at this. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, He was observing it from his inner vision, right? All this what is going on in the battlefield. He said to Dhritarashtra, O Bharata, commanded thus by Gudakesha, Rishikesha drove that grandest of chariots to a place between the two hosts. Okay? So, Rishikesha is Krishna, drove the grandest of chariots of who? Of Arjuna, to a place between the two parties, facing Bhishma, Drona, and all the rulers of the earth, and then spoke thus: Behold, O Partha, all the Kurus gathered together. Krishna advises, asks, commands Arjuna to say, look, you asked me to drive the chariot here, and you are here. Look who is here to fight with you. Okay? Tatra pashyat sthitan parthaha pitrenath pitamahan acharyan matulan bhratran putran pautran sakinstatha shasuran suhridaschaiva senayorubhayorapi putran pautran sakinstatha shvasuran suhridaschaiva senayorubhayorapi. Then saw Partha stationed there in both the armies, uncles, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers and cousins, his own and their sons, grandsons, comrades, father-in-law and friends as well. Here comes the moment of crisis. Tan samikshya sa kaunteyaha sarvan bandhun avasthitan kripaya parayavishtaha विषेदन्निदमब्रवीत् तान् समीक्ष्य स कौन्तेयः सर्वान् बन्धूनवस्थितान् कृपया परयाविष्टः विषेदन्निदमब्रवीत्. Then he, the son of Kunti, Kaunteya, Arjuna, seeing all those kinsmen, means his relatives, Bhaichara, stationed in their ranks, spoke thus sorrowfully, filled with deep compassion. Oh my gosh, look what delusion. Arjuna uvacha drishtve mam swajanam Krishna yuyutsum samupasthitam sidanti mama gatrani mukhancha parishushyati vepathuscha sharire me roma harshascha jayate Gandivam sangsrate hastat tvakchaiva paridahyate. Here begins the moment of utter crisis for Arjuna. What happens to Arjuna? Seeing, O Krishna, these my kinsmen gathered here eager for fight, my limbs fail me, and my mouth is parched up dry. I shiver all over, and my hair stands on end. The bow Gandiva slips from my hand, and my skin is burning. Skin is burning. My whole body is like on fire. Nacha shaknomyavasthatum भ्रमतीव च मे मनः निमित्तानि च पश्यामि viparetani Keshava. Neither, O Keshava, can I stand upright. My mind is in a whirl, and I see adverse omens, just like our little kiddos or confused kiddos in the society, here and there, has no idea what our shastras have to tell about. They are saying, they are confused. Oh, should we even strike back? Oh, should we even fight? Oh, should we even attempt to hit back? Or we just accept the blow what we have been given? Absolutely not. Okay, look at the confusion. Nacha shreyo nupashyami hatva swajanamahave nakangshe vijayam Krishna nacha rajyam sukhani cha. Neither, O Krishna, do I see any good in killing this my own people in battle. Bhaichara ho raha hai, dekho. Bhaichara ho raha hai. I desire neither victory nor empire nor any pleasure, nor yet pleasure. Arjuna thus begins as a kshatriya, as a king, as a judicious person, he now, in his delusional state of mind, starts to give reasoning why he should not attack, why he should not fight back. Look at this. Apparently speaking, if somebody is hijacked in their mind, just like those militants, just like those young little poor fellows who have been hijacked by their lack of discrimination. Similarly, Arjun too, he was like not sure, and he is making up his own reasons why he should not fight. Look, किन्नो राज्येन गोविन्द किं भोगैर्जीवितेन वा येषामर्थे काङ्क्षितन्नः राज्यं भोगा सुखानि च त इमेव स्थिता युद्धे प्राणान् त्यक्त्वा धनानि च आचार्याः पितरः पुत्राः तथैव च पितामहाः मातुलाश्वशुराः पौत्राः श्यालाः सम्बन्धिनस्तथा. Oh, poor Arjun, look. Of what avail is dominion to us? Of what avail are pleasures and even life? If these, O Govinda, O Krishna, for whose sake it is desired that empire, enjoyment, and pleasure should be ours, themselves stand here in battle, having renounced life and wealth, teachers, uncles, sons, and also grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers in law, grandsons, brothers in law, besides other kinsmen. Arjuna is saying, who are all these worth for winning? Because we will win all of this killing our brethren. भाईचारा चल रहा है उसका मन में. देखो क्या चल रहा है. जब बात होता है अधर्म का, तब कुछ नहीं माना जाएगा. जो भी उससे जुड़ा हुआ है, whoever is linked to it, whoever is doing it, whoever is doing prishta poshakata, means whoever is nurturing them, everybody is equally treated. So he doesn't matter who is whose grandson, who is whose guru at that point of time. If they are following the path of adharma, look, etanna hantumichhami gnatopi madhusudana apitrailokya rajyasya hetok kinnu mahi krite. Even though, Arjuna continues to say to Krishna, even though these were to kill me, O slayer of Madhu, means Madhusudana, means Krishna, I could not wish to kill them. Not even for the sake of dominion over the three worlds. How much less for the sake of the earth? Arjuna is saying that forget about for the sake of the earth. Even if I can gain all the three loka, Swarga, Marta and Patal, even then I would not go for fight. Even if that is the price for me, I will still not go for fight. Because look who is in front of me. He is completely hijacked by a delusional state. Because when it comes to dharma, none of this matters. We will see later on in the subsequent chapters. But for now, look the delusion of Arjuna, which you can find many similarities in our society nowadays, especially during these times of protecting the dharma. Shloka number 36, chapter 1. Nihatya dharta rashtranaha ka pretis syad janardana papamevashraye dasman hatvaitanatayanaha. One more time. Nihatya dharta rashtranaha ka pretis syad janardana papamevashraye dasman hatvaitanatayanaha. What pleasure indeed could be ours, O Janardana, from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra. Sin only could take hold of us by the slaying of these felons. Making up his own mind, making up his own justification of why he should not fight. As we proceed. Tasmannarha vayam hantum dhartarashtran swabandhavan swajanam hi katham hatva sukhinasyama madhava. Therefore, we ought not to kill our kindred, the sons of Dhritarashtra. For how could we, O Madhava, gain happiness by the slaying of our own kinsmen? Bhaichara. Yadyapyete na pashyanti lobhopahata chetasaha kulakshaya kritandosham मित्रद्रोहे च पातकम् कथन्न ज्ञेयमस्माभिः पापादस्मान्निवर्तितुम् कुलक्षयकृतं दोषम् प्रपश्यद्भिर्जनार्दन कथन्न ज्ञेयमस्माभिः पापादस्मान्निवर्तितुम् कुलक्षयकृतं दोषम् प्रपश्यद्भिर्जनार्दन. Though this, with understanding overpowered by greed, see no evil due to decay of families and no sin in hostility to friends, why should we, Janardana, O Janardana, who see clearly the evil due to the decay of families, not turn away from this sin? Arjuna is saying, well, they are evil, they don't understand things, what is right, what is wrong. But we are the good side, we understand, na? We understand what is dharma. So why should we be a part of this slaying, a part of this killing? Arjuna, look at how powerful his deluded mind is. It's trying all sorts of things to cloud the justification and the discrimination, power of discrimination at the moment of crisis. Kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme nashte kulang kritsnam adharmo bhavatyuta kulakshaye pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme nashte kulang kritsnam adharmo bhavatyuta. On the decay of a family, the immemorial religious rites of that family die out. On the destruction of spirituality, impiety further overwhelms the whole of the family. Arjuna continues to cook up his own justification why he should not fight, which is happening right now. Many people are saying why Operation Sindoor should not have been struck. Well, not only Sindoor, but also many like such should come and demolish everything. Because look at the scriptures. When adharma rises, nothing matters. Whether somebody is your neighbor or living in your own country, wipe them out. Wipe them out, as clear as that, if they are participating directly or indirectly to adharma. So look. Adharma bhavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriyaha स्त्रीषु दुष्टासु वार्ष्णेय जायते वर्ण संकरः अधर्माभिभवात् कृष्ण प्रदुष्यन्ति कुलस्त्रियः स्त्रीषु दुष्टासु वार्ष्णेय जायते वर्ण संकरः. 41 श्लोक I will chant again. अधर्माभिभवात् कृष्ण प्रदुष्यन्ति कुलस्त्रियः स्त्रीषु दुष्टासु वार्ष्णेय jayate varna sankaraha. Arjuna says, on the prevalence of impiety, O Krishna, the women of the family become corrupt, and women being corrupted, these arises, O Varshnaya, intermingling of castes. Means whose professions are different, who don't go along based on their interests, what they're interested in. So there will be mismatch in the matching, in the relational matching. Then he continues, Arjuna. Sankaro narakayaiva kulagnanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro hyesham lupta pindodaka kriyaha. Admixture of castes indeed is for the hell of the family and the destroyers of the family. Their ancestors fall deprived of the offerings of rice ball and water. Arjuna's delusional mind is going far and wide in telling what else could happen as a consequence. So he is going far off from the ground, present ground, the ground battle. At the very present mind, his mind is wandering off. It is not present anymore. It's either going in the past or swaying to the future. Doshaire taik kulagnanam varna sankara karakaih utsadyante jati dharmaah kula dharmascha shashwataah by these misdeeds of the destroyers of the family, bringing about confusion of castes and the immemorial religious rights of the caste and the family destroyed. उत्सन्नकुलधर्माणां मनुष्याणां जनार्दन नरके नियतं वासः भवतीत्यनुशुश्रुमा. We have heard, O Janardana, that dwelling in hell is inevitable for those men in whose families religious practices has been destroyed. So if we fight, the religious practices will be all gone because nobody will be there in their families to carry forward. So if that is not happening in the family, all of them will stay in the hell. All of them will, that means, go through sufferings after their this lifetime. So his mind going too far from that present moment of अहो बत महत् पापं कर्तुं व्यवसिता वयं यद्राज्य सुखलोभेन हन्तुं स्वजनमुद्यताः. Alas, we are involved in a great sin. In that we are prepared to slay our kinsmen out of greed for the pleasures of a kingdom. No, that was not for the pleasures of a kingdom. That's where the mistake was, which Bhagavan Krishna of course clarifies. It was not for the pleasures of the kingdom. It was for protecting the dharma. Because at the first place, they wanted for 5 villages anyway. They didn't want a whole kingdom. So it was not for the pleasures. That's where the mistake was. Arjuna was cooking up his own justification. So whenever a terrorist attack happens, it's not that we are greedy about any land or anything. To wipe off anything that incites and tries to incite, provoke anything that is adharma and doing some heinous acts. No compromise with that. So Arjuna is thinking that it's for their own pleasure the fight was going to happen. But actually it was for the protection of dharma. We will see that. But for now, look. 46th shloka. Yadi mama pratekaram ashastram shastrapanayah dhartarashtrarane hanyuhu tanme kshemataram bhavet. Verily, if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to slay me, unresisting and unarmed in the battle, that would be better for me. Arjuna, the greatest of all time warriors, has gone to such delusional state where he is saying, even if the sons of the Dhritarashtra, the blind king, whose son were all the Kauravas, even if the Dhritarashtra sons, the Kauravas, weapons in their hand and me, unarmed and unresisting, they slay me in the battle, that would be better for me. This is where he has arrived. So 46 shlokas, until this Arjuna's despondence we see. Then Sanjaya says something to Dhritarashtra and the chapter closes. The last shloka, the last verse, 47th verse, chapter 1, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Sanjaya uvacha eva muktvarjuna sankhye rathopastha upavishat visrijya sasharanchapam shoka samvigna manasaha. One more time. 47th sloka, the last sloka of chapter 1. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Sanjaya uvacha eva muktvarjuna sankhye rathopastha upavishat visrijya sasharanchapam shoka samvigna manasaha. Sanjaya said, speaking thus in the midst of the battlefield, Arjuna, casting away his bows and arrows, sank down on the seat of his chariot with his mind distressed with sorrow. Do you see? So in the first chapter, the delusional state went to that far. Arjuna let his bow and arrow down, was depressed, sat down in a very pensive mood and said, I will not fight. Let me first formally conclude chapter 1, then we go to a little discussion. Om Tat Saditi Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Arjuna Vishada Yoga Nama Prathamodhyayaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, we will, just as we conclude this live session, I wanted to mention that Operation Sindoor was not that it was something to gain something which is unrighteous. That Operation Sindoor, and hopefully many more coming, is to announce to the world, if adharma is coming, dharma will not stay quiet. Delusional state may happen during these times of crisis, but that's why we have our time immemorial scriptures to guide us what is the right thing to do in Sanatana Dharma. If somebody has said, two things I want to mention as I close this, very important. If somebody says Shrimad Bhagavad Gita is inciting, Sanatana Dharma is about non-violence, absolutely not. For when? When there is times of crisis with the possibility of rising of adharma. No. As you can see in the next chapter, you will see how Krishna uplifts, and that is the world's best counseling session you will ever see. How to clarify the confusion of a great soul Arjuna. So that will be coming up next. But Sanatana Dharma is not about ahimsa. When adharma comes up, demolish it. Operation Sindoor, demolish. That's it. Second one, Shrimad Bhagavad Gita incites, invokes violence. No, absolutely not. Why? Because you cannot say one thing out of its context. Why? Because this context, this war has been only when you have that adharmic people at the last resort, when they have all lined up, they tried many times. If you have studied the epic Mahabharata, then you would know there were many attempts from Pandava's side. Krishna, of course, intervened, and it's of course his plan. But anyway, there was many attempts to stop this war. It was the last resort. Okay, so when that happens, only in that context, go full-fledged. Karmanyevadhikaraste mahaleshu kadachana. All of this is applicable to that, not in general life it's talking about. Okay, so please, let's not take things out of its context and say one thing. Let's please see the whole thing, in which context it is being said, and what are its implications before and after. What is its implication in the whole storyline? So please, I would refrain anybody and everybody who is listening to this episode, or in general, when you study yourself, please try to understand the context. This context understanding is the most important thing. Neither Sanatana Dharma is talking about just accepting all these adharmic things happening. Never. Neither it is trying to incite violence, society. Never. But when the adharma is coming, paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Either Bhagavan Krishna, or he will send the right kind of power needed to demolish that. Dharma will not sit back quietly and accept adharma. Never it will allow to get it to adharma. In Kali Yuga, it's difficult. In Kali Yuga, there will be more times of adharma trying to put its head up, but that many times there will be Operation Sindoor. With that, we are finishing off this session. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any comments, if you have any any thoughts that you would like to share in this discussion, please do write in the comment section. And if you want to get this kind of notifications of the live sessions or any other videos coming up, please do hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and that bell notification icon. So every single time you are here, right here live with me, interacting, or you are listening and not missing any of the videos I publish. Thank you so much for all your love and support and all your blessings. With that, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Om Tat Sat. Take care, everybody. Namaskar.